Right. Good evening, everyone. This open meeting of the Town of Auburn Conservation Commission is being operated as a hybrid format under Chapter 22 of the Acts of 2022. And this is the August 28, 2024 meeting of the Auburn Conservation Commission. The public can join the meeting remotely by dialing 408-650-3123 and then using access code 942-845-549. Or you can join via computer at global.gotomeeting.com/join/942-845-549. So all supporting materials for tonight's meeting have been provided to the commissioners. It's also available on the town's website, and the public is encouraged to follow along using the posted agenda. My name is Michael Garland. I'm chairman of the Conservation Commission. Before we start, let me confirm that people who are participating are here and can hear me. So when I call your name, please respond in the affirmative. Tom Fallon.
Here.
Jill Colross. Megan Langley.
Here.
Mark Sclamo.
Here.
Jesse Averka.
Here.
Okay. Also, please note that this meeting is being recorded by Auburn Cable Television. So if you're going to participate in connection with tonight's meeting, please state your name and your address as if you are attending in person. So without further ado, the first item on our agenda is for the 7 o'clock public hearing, Timothy Johnson, a notice of intent for property at 25 Vinyl Street. Is there a motion to open?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? It's a vote. Good evening. Clearly. Can you identify yourselves, please?
Yep, Tim Johnson for 25 Vinyl Street.
Jay Gallant, architect working with Jim Johnson.
Okay, and throwing things in the audience. Okay,
Free stuff.
so where do we stand, gentlemen?
Well, we,
I believe we're going to have Ecotech is,
yeah, Scott Gordon's here as well.
All right. He was on before, and there he is now. Mr. Jordan, good evening.
back.
Good evening. How are you?
Good. Can you speak up a little bit louder, maybe turn up your volume?
Sure.
We're primarily here to address some questions about the wetlands
All right.
and so maybe, Scott, would you mind talking us through your findings and the report?
Sure. So we were on the property at the end of June to delineate the wetlands on the site. Ecotech had previously delineated the wetlands on the site in 2020. We found some of our old flag, but not enough to just refresh the flag. So we redelineated with new series enumeration. What we found was in the southeastern portion of the property, an isolated vegetated wetland that may qualify as isolated land subject to flooding. Doesn't really matter. It's jurisdictional under the bylaw. And then we delineated a larger system in the western portion with the ABAC series. That's a large swamp area that's associated with an intermittent stream that flows off site to the north. And those were the only resource areas we found on the site.
I
Okay.
was just questioning it because it said that they weren't your flags, so it was, I can't remember. That was about a month ago, so I believe something
That's
to that.
exactly what your question was. And
Yeah.
Scott, you had a good explanation when you explained that to me. It's just a general disclaimer, basically.
I don't know if you heard it.
That's a disclaimer, basically, right in your report. It's not necessarily pertinent to this property.
And what are we referencing? Oh, the paragraph about seeing other flagging on the site?
Yes.
I think that's what we had spoke about. Yeah, that's when we encounter, we see flagging by others on sites that we evaluate. or on abutting sites. We always include that information in our flagging memos to our clients to let them know that there could be an open permit and jurisdiction could be established associated with those flags. And we've seen on occasion where that can really affect the projects. That's just kind of a standard paragraph. You know, most, if not all, the flags we saw were Ecotex, but they were 4 years old. They were for a different client. We didn't know if there was an open permit or something. So we were just notifying our new client, you know, possibility of that.
So just so I'm clear, you actually did flag this wetland back in 2020?
Yeah, Art Allen did.
Okay. And did you find any, a great deal of variation between what Art Allen did in 2020 and what you found in June?
No. In many cases, we flagged over old nubs. There was only one deviation right in the middle of the site. And the flags are, I think it's AB 31 to 34 are a little bit higher than the previous delineation. Otherwise, it's virtually the same.
Okay. So where are you with the planning board?
Well, we're still working on the stormwater design. So we've taken the, you know, the redelineated flagging. The engineers that we've hired, Kelly Engineering, they worked on updating the layouts, and we'd like to continue our hearing.
Yeah.
Okay.
More time.
All right. And
To finish the design, but we intend to submit our application to the planning board in early September.
Yeah.
okay, so when would you like to come back here?
When do you like to see us? So we're also submitting, we need a special permit for the zoning board of review.
Okay.
So that hearing's going to be in late September.
I mean, I'm speaking solely for myself. I'm not sure I care much about the ZBA, but I would, obviously, we do have an interest in the stormwater design. Do you want to continue this to the second meeting in September?
Yeah, I believe we're really close with the,
What is she surprise?
I
She does.
good for you.
Putakana?
Yeah.
Oh,
You can't report by phone?
Business trip.
well, perhaps you can join us remotely.
Think that that's going to happen?
Okay, well, in any event,
Yeah, I think we're very close with the stormwater plan.
All right.
We're right on the cusp of it. They've actually have it kind of completed, but we just want to firm up a couple last minute details.
We might have it for the first meeting in September.
We would.
Whether we're going to be,
Wait,
whether
that
we're
is
going to be the board that we don't know.
so I'm gone the 18th and the 22nd. That is the first
the,
meeting, right?
the 25th would be the second meeting.
Okay, sorry. I am here for that.
Here for the first meeting.
I'm not here for the first.
Wow,
I
what
will
a-
be here for the second.
What a relief.
Sorry.
Okay,
Sorry.
so, okay, now that we've clarified your travel plans, is there a motion to continue the public hearing for 25 Vial Street to September 25 at 7 PM?
So moved.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? It's a vote. All right, gentlemen, we'll see you on September 25th at 7 PM. Thank you.
Thank you. Good night.
The next matter on our agenda is a 7:05 public hearing, the Auburn Warren District, a notice of intent for a property at 9A Pine Valley Drive for the purpose of constructing a new drinking water filtration plant. Is there a motion open?
So moved.
Is there a second? Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed to vote. Is there anyone here on behalf of the Auburn Water District? Mr. Carmesine, can you turn on your microphone? Hello? Mr. Carmesine, if you can hear me, are you here on behalf of the Auburn Water District? And he can't hear me. We can't. Can't hear you. You know, I think I really learned, I should learn how to read lips, don't you think?
You hear me now?
I can hear
Oh,
you
there we
now,
go.
yes.
Oh, perfect.
Okay.
Wrong
So-
key on the keyboard.
So who are you here for, sir?
I'm the design professional for the Auburn Water District, so here to go through the treatment plant located at 9A Pine Valley Drive.
Excellent. If you could just speak up a little bit, and please proceed.
So the Water District is looking to construct a roughly 80 by 60 drinking water plant. It's going to remove arsenic, PFAS, manganese from their wells located in that clearing area that's nearby the wells, well 7 and 8. It's a 400 GPM facility with a manganese backwash holding basin underneath the building. And the basin will be pumped out periodically, a few times a week to the sewer system. So we have a couple force main that goes up the access road and into the sewer district sewer network. The building has a loading dock. It's for delivering chlorine gas cylinder drums and some chemical deliveries. So the main process is to remove those compounds. The building itself is a light gauge metal truss roof system with asphalt shingles. And the site is pretty much open land. We have some minimal grading on site. All the runoff from the roof is going to be captured in the infiltration basin and then overflow into the wetlands. So we tried to everything is in the buffer zone of the wetlands. We tried to maintain everything outside the 25-foot boundary. So hopefully minimal impacts. We have little to no impervious cover besides the roof. So I'm happy to answer any questions.
Shall we take a look?
I mean, realistically, it looks like so it looks like from the report that basically it has to get done because it's rising levels of arsenic in the water,
Which is not good.
right? That true?
I don't think he heard you.
Yeah, the district needs to bring these sources back online. They've been offline, I think, since
Rising
Right.
levels of arsenic
Magnesium.
correct.
in magnesium and E.
Arsenic, manganese, and iron, and some levels of PFAS too.
PFAS.
So it's
is
going
not
to go
good.
through two different sets of series of filters. The first is a GAC filter that's going to remove the PFAS, and then the second is the green sand filter that will remove the arsenic, manganese, and iron.
So realistically, I mean, it looks like you're a little bit within the 25-foot buffer. More than one of the zones. Is that true? I'm reading the report. I'm better at reading.
It is. I'm looking at the site plan. I had to encroach a little bit on the 25-foot buffer because there's a delivery that if you're looking, let's see, that'd be east of the building. There'll be a delivery truck that's going to bring in like a tanker truck to deliver potassium hydroxide. And then the district will have their personal vehicles that'll be doing sort of a 3-point turn where they're going to back up to the loading dock.
If
And
you
so they
want,
need some room
Mike,
for that turn.
I can have you share your screen so
in the
that they
way
can
of the
see what you're
railroad,
talking about.
The railroad boundary right away.
I guess the point that I'm making is,
Well, you're going to need to, under our regulations, you're going to need a waiver.
Yeah.
Because, you know, we have a 25-foot no-build zone, and we enforce it strictly, so.
They need that, but I mean, at the end of the day, there's no way that you can move this around in order to get that out of that buffer? We've looked at that.
I think it's possible we could shift it.
So you,
I'd have to look.
So under our regulations, if you want to build within the 25-foot no-build zone, you have to show that there are no practical alternatives to the proposed action. It's three different categories. No practical alternatives to the proposed action, alteration of the resource area has been minimized to the greatest extent practicable, or compensatory mitigation measures are taken. So it seems to me that if there's a practical alternative to building in the 25-foot no-build zone, it's something you have to at least consider. Is that fair?
It's totally fair.
Okay. So, I mean, I don't know what it would take you to retool your plan. My suggestion would be that you take a look at it and see if you can, you know, get that activity out of the 25-foot no-build area. And then I would suggest just continuing the public hearing to our first meeting in September, and then resubmit a revised plan. At that point, we can consider it.
Okay, and that goes for even just fencing and grading?
I
It
mean,
includes all that, too.
yeah, I mean, we enforce it. Again, 25-foot no-build zone means no build.
Can we talk about that for a second?
Sure.
Okay.
Okay.
You obviously need to get this done as soon as possible in order for our citizens to have decent drinking water. Is that fair to say?
Mhm.
Yes?
Correct.
He said
Can you,
yes.
can you repeat that?
You can
Breaking up a
get this
little
done
bit.
as soon as possible in order to have good drinking water?
Correct, yeah, we're trying to, we need to wrap up the design by October 15th,
Okay.
you know, as soon as possible, really, so.
Is there a way that they could do that? Would you be staying outside of, say, the 100-foot buffer zone if you started the grading?
Staying outside of the 25-foot buffer zone?
Say the 100 or 50?
Well, what
We're
is he
within the 50 and 100.
suggesting?
Could we do something that they could start by staying out of the 100-foot buffer zone?
I mean, our next meeting is going to be in 2 weeks.
Okay,
I don't think 2 weeks is going to make much of a difference.
all right, okay.
You know, and again, you know, I think we have regulations for a reason, so, I mean, do you agree with my suggestion, sir?
Yeah, I need to look into it to see if it's feasible, so just based on vehicle access on the other side, so.
And then if you represent to us that you know, you looked at other options and it's not practicable, then we can certainly consider that, but I think you have to do that analysis when you are considering or proposing to build within the 25-foot no-build zone.
And the waiver process is,
Well, it's just that it's like I said, basically you have to show one of three things. You have to show that there are no practical alternatives to the proposed action, that alteration of the resource area has been minimized to the greatest extent practicable, and that compensatory or mitigation measures have been taken even at an off-site location to protect the public interest in the protected resource area to be removed, filled, dredged, built upon, or altered. So I mean, that's specific language in our special conditions.
okay,
Okay?
understood.
All right, so
What is the length of this, like, assuming that if we had been able to approve this, like, immediately, when would this be commence and approximately be finished? I'm just trying to figure
Are
out,
you-
like, the length of time that this whole project takes, like,
Okay, the length, so it'll be bid in the winter. And and then awarded sometime, say, March or April of next year. And then typically it's a 2-year
It's not.
construction.
It's not an emergency.
Okay, all right.
Okay, yeah, I was just trying to, kind of try to put it in context, like waiting 2 weeks, how, really what that's going through.
Thank you for that. Yeah.
Sure.
Thank you.
Okay, so just to make sure we're on all on the same page, you agree to continue the public hearing to September 11th?
Correct. Yep.
Okay, so in that case, is there a motion to continue the public hearing for the Auburn Water District to September 11? Jesse, do we have anything on for September 11th?
No, that would be the 7 o'clock.
Okay, at 7 PM. So is there a motion?
I move to continue the 75 Church Street to September 11th at 7 PM.
Do you mean 9A Pine Valley Drive?
Okay. Pine Valley Drive.
Okay, all right, is there a second?
I'll second that.
Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, it's a vote. All right, thank you, sir. We'll see you in a couple weeks.
Thank you. Have a good
Thank
night.
you. Thank you. The next,
My glasses on.
the next matter on our agenda, the next matter on our agenda is a 7:10 public hearing, Turnpike Developments LLC, an amendment of an order of conditions that we previously issued for 7 St. Mark Street. Is there a motion to open?
So moved.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? It's a vote. Mr. Kravosky, good evening.
Thank you, Conservation Commission. Thank you, Chairman. For Stephen Shattuck, one of the principals. And the other principal is sitting here of 7 St. Mark.
Okay.
We, on the same day, have prematurely closed the hearing before hearing from DEP, but we'll say that, should say that. So there were some comments by Kim Roth, and we had our engineer address them under O&M,
Okay.
operation and maintenance. It was just making sure not to close. And we kept any infiltration that was within 50 feet because he was taking out the topsoil and putting in a crushed stone to infiltrate into the natural gravel below it. But that was brought up by DEP that that's still infiltration. If you see it in the future, no infiltration within 50 feet of DPW. So we remove the infiltration out of the 50 feet. So if I look at the plan, I know I can't prove this, but the plan will show all the way to the right, that's the limit, well, all the way to the right, the pond, the wetland. And then the first red line, that's linear up and down, that would be the 25-foot zone that we can't go into, the no disturbance zone. And we have taken out the infiltration in that area. We left the natural soil, because the soil naturally does have some porosity to it, but we took out the crushed stone bed, that 1 foot thick. We left the topsoil. Our intention and our handwritten is to remove the trees in that zone, which we were permitted under the original order. But leave the topsoil, as we also send you photos, that the schools presently are being placed in the woods and on the topsoil, and that we haven't had any erosion issues. The water does go to the catch basin. And then
Was it not on? Even though I was yelling, huh? Okay, sorry about that.
Nope.
Are you green over
No.
there? In case you need it? Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you again. So so that was the revision, to get infiltration out of the 50 feet, leave the topsoil, which would still leave the subsoil, which is your sea horizon. Topsoil would be your A there, and then put a crushed stone bed on top of that, just to ensure that we're not creating muck or while we put spools there. We haven't been creating any kind of mud. There's no evidence from them putting spools on the dirt presently, and that's why we added a photo exhibit to show you what's there. And also, we did have inspections with 3 members, the chair, the vice chair, and
Ms. Langley? Yes.
thank you. And then DEP had O&M requirements. We do have an O&M guidance, which goes into cleaning the catch basin if we're standing on the road facing in, which would be, so we're standing on the road facing in, the lower right corner of the existing parking has a catch basin that drains to the wetland. It's been going on since '84. This building was built in '84. And we now have an O&M, and the client has read it and has signed it. It will be for the Conservation Commission. It goes into if there's a spill, how often you're supposed to clean the catch basin, how often you're supposed to clean the asphalt. And in some cases, we'll see in the order of conditions that when it's sucked out by, say, a Helgerson, we keep the receipts. I told the client about this, and once a year, we can report back to you that, yes, we swept the asphalt, yes, we cleaned the catch basins as required, at least to report back to you, to show you that we are watching the O&M plan, and that we're taking care of it, which you might not always see, but we do see it in other towns, and we're going to respect what, obviously, DEP asked for this. It is put out by Mr. Gless, and it's thorough, we believe.
Okay.
And it's signed now by the owner, and he did read it.
Okay.
So we're going to follow that guide. We might say that because we have an order, we did, without any disturbance, we did put the erosion control barrier in because the client and the renters are anxious, but that's not putting any issues with you. I'm just letting you know the erosion controls have been placed. It's a silt fence entrenched in wattles at the limit as it's shown on the plan. The one thing that we added, and I told the engineer, and I don't see it, and there was some question by the members at the last hearing about the potential for plowing anything into the woodlands. We will take an order, if the commission puts it in the order, to put 6 Jersey barriers along the limit, not in the 25-foot zone, but just out of it, along the edge of our disturbance. That'll keep people honest that they're not going into the woods again. It'll keep people that we're not going to be plowing in the woods or spools in the woods. So if you choose to do that, the client is aware of it, and we and said, fine, of course, to keep you happy, if we use that term.
Sure.
We're not going into your 25 no disturbance zone.
Okay.
I believe that's the project. We did, Kim Roth, when we did send it to her, the revised plan, she just, because she didn't do a full review, she copied what she had said in the file number sheet, and she just asked, are you complying with what I asked for? And the engineer reviewed it all, and we are now, we believe, in compliance with every of the 4 or 5 questions she had about the catch basin again, and infiltration on Mr. Gless. And I do have still, we did send that to your agent, Jesse, the response back.
Right. Okay.
So this is a request to amend.
Understood. I have no questions. Any questions? No questions.
Can you, sorry, can you just, I guess that's not up there anymore, but where is the infiltration basin again on here?
Oh, so the crushed stone bed that the engineer originally put down, it wasn't a basin. It was take out the top and sub and put crushed stone, and then that would be the infiltration into the sea horizon directly. Because he did bring that out as a form of infiltration, that's what Kim Roth picked up, that there's now infiltration within 50, and that's what we took out. So the only other stormwater that's out there, well, we have the asphalt to clean, but it was the catch basin. And knowing that in most cases, these catch basins just forgot about, now with the O&M, it's not going to be forgot about. It will be checked as soon as we get this order, and we will be looking at most likely sucking that sand out of there.
And where's the catch basin?
Thank you. standing on the road facing in, but on that plan, so the road is to my left. Looking in, it's on the right. It's right in the corner of the existing asphalt. Let me point it out to you on this plan.
This,
Actually, it's right here where that little L dog leg is. You see that dog leg right here? And there's the direct line over to the discharge point at the wetland. That's how it was. Kim also brought up, are you going to take the fill piles out of the wetland? You'll notice on the plan, if you can see them, there's two old fill piles. They have saplings on them. There's trees. This is 84. There, in most cases, it was something recent, of course, we'd take it out of there, but now it's part of a hummock, two mounds that are in the wetland. Let's just say that they're 4 feet high and they tow out, and they're all vegetated. We would, I don't ever use the term, well, we'd cause more harm than good to do a replication or take something out, but when it's 1984, this has been grown in. It's basically a mound in a wetland, which is not like there aren't mounds in wetlands, so it becomes a little dry spot in the middle of a wetland. Fine animals get up on it, whatever. So we weren't intending to go back through and do some alteration to get to those old two mounds. We actually did put the date of those mounds on the plan.
Right. Okay. All right. I don't think there's any public comment. Ms. Hicks?
I believe she's here for the next hearing,
All right, very good.
Lester Street project.
All right, if there are no other questions, is there a motion to close?
Make a motion to close the public hearing?
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? It's a vote. All right, gentlemen, thank you very much for
Thank you,
coming in.
Commissioner, very much for your time, a second time.
Okay.
If I say gentlemen, I mean all people.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
Gentle people.
I think I caught myself.
Doesn't matter.
No, we don't leave the woman out ever. Thank
Call you lady next time.
Thank you. Yeah, that's all.
The next matter on agenda is a 7:15 public hearing. Keith Landry and notice of intent for property at 415 Leicester Street for the construction of a residential garage. Is there a motion open?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed to vote. Ms. Hicks?
Hi, guys. I'm Mandy Hicks from Guarantee Builders. I am here representing the property owners of 415 Leicester Street.
Okay.
We are proposing to build a detached 24 by 28 residential garage. We will be building that within the 100-foot buffer zone. The foundation will be proposed with a 4-foot frost wall and a 4-inch cement slab. Soil from the digging will be stockpiled out of the 100-foot buffer zone. We are about 79 feet from the edge of the wetlands. Once work is completed, the area will be stabilized with lumen seed. During the work, their protection will be erosion control around the build in the stockpile.
And when do you propose to begin construction?
Well, after this, we will have to get the order, if it's granted, recorded, and then apply for the building permit. So we're hoping to get that started relatively soon to get it before snowfall. So I
And
know
how-
that Jesse had mentioned you have to probably do a site visit.
We
continue to-
normally do. We just like to get a sense of the lay of the land.
Sure.
So, yeah, I mean, I think I'd like to take a look. You don't have to be there if you have other matters to take care of. We normally do our site walks on Saturdays.
Sure. Okay.
You know, what we can do is the house is currently occupied, right?
Yes, that is correct.
So we can always knock on their door, identify ourselves, and just, walk around their backyard, I guess.
Yeah, and if you do know, like around when you're going, I can let Mr. Landry know for a heads
I
up,
mean,
or-
I'm available this Saturday. I would probably do it first thing around 9 in the morning.
Sure, yeah, that works. I can let him know.
Does that work for you? It's never a good weekend for you.
Labor Day.
Oh, it is Labor Day weekend.
Yes,
Could we agree to do, thank you, I forgot. Can we agree to do it perhaps next Saturday?
Sure.
following Saturday, which would be, quickly,
The
what day is
7th?
that?
The 8th.
Bueller? September 7th at 9 AM?
Yes.
Okay, and like I said, if you have other plans, you don't have to join us. But
Okay.
you could advise your client that we will be there on September 7th at 9 o'clock.
I will let him know that. Unfortunately, I'll be in New York for a wedding, so I won't be there, but I will definitely let him know. And then, will it be on the next meeting, the 11th?
And you agree to continue this to September 11th
Yes, that's correct.
at 7:05 PM?
Yes.
Okay.
Sure.
All right, great. Is there a motion to continue the public hearing for 415 Leicester Street to 9/11 at 7:05?
So moved.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed to vote. All right, thank you, Ms. Hicks.
Thank you. Have a great night, guys.
All right, you too. And then finally, for public hearings, 720 public hearing, Michael Marinus of Insight Engineering, a notice of intent for 47 Rockland Road. It is my understanding that this is going to be continued, Jesse?
Yes, that's what they're still waiting to get get all of their plans together, so they asked to continue. They're hoping to continue to September 25th.
Okay. Is there a motion to continue the public hearing to September 25 at 7:05 PM?
So moved.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? It's a vote. All righty. So we have some other business matters, and then we can talk about the request to amend the order of conditions for 7 St. Mark Street. With regard to 7 Maria Avenue, there are rumors.
There are rumors.
that,
Rumors
uh,
are
notice of-
circulating.
A notice of intent is going to be filed. Have we seen it yet?
We have not seen it yet, no.
Okay. Why not?
I don't know. That's a good question.
Great.
I mean, I've been in contact with Kate from Ecotech, so I know that they're doing the work.
Okay.
I know that, the last time that I'd spoken to her, she said that they were hoping and planning on filing for the September 11th hearing, but yeah, nothing yet, so it's looking less likely.
All right. We've taken care of the enforcement order for 26 Albert Street, haven't we?
We have. I left it on there because the last time that we talked about it, I wanted to get everything together. If you guys want to, issue a fine for, the violations that took place there, I kind of have the timeline of events
Okay.
and the dates nailed down.
You do.
I do.
So okay, let's discuss it. What do you have for a timeline?
Are we still talking about 7 Maria or
No,
No.
because
talking about 26?
we're talking about 26 Albert Street.
Yeah, the access road over there. So we first issued an enforcement order on April 17th. I don't know if you guys recollect, but that was sent to, any enforcement order that I have, I use the address that the assessors in town have. That was not the best address to reach Travis or anyone from Eastland. So they were unaware that that had gone out. Then on May 8th, we had Travis, I had reached out to him and told him to attend our meeting so that we could let him know what was going on. He attended on May 8th and we had a discussion with him about the violation. And then, told him that we wanted a restoration plan to be, filed with us. And then on May 29th, that was when we received that plan that, ended up leading to the order of conditions that we issued a couple meetings ago, I believe.
All right. So the question is, what do we use as a starting date? It seems to me. Well, I guess my first question would be, who submitted or who provided the address to the Board of Assessors in the first place? Do we know?
I'm not sure, no.
Okay.
I think that the problem is that those are only updated every so often.
Okay.
So it's just, occasionally you get old addresses.
So if we go with May 8th and to May 29th, that's approximately 3 weeks or 21 days. Okay. I'm going to open it for discussion. This is a case, and I know certainly from Mark, who wasn't here, there was a situation where there was a road being used to convey materials for the big construction project. You probably, if you've been on Route 20, that's the Oxford part of what has been going on in Auburn, all the apartment buildings that have been constructed off of Albert Street. they were using it, and that road abuts a wetland area. There was evidence that they had not put in erosion control measures. They had not identified that as an area that was going to be part of their construction project. And there was evidence that the wetlands there were affected by, that siltation had in fact gotten into the wetland area. And I think there was evidence that they knew about it. I was not really convinced by their explanation why it wasn't shown on any plans. So if we decide that the period in question for the fine is between May 8th and May 29th, what does the board think a suitable fine is? Now, under our regulations, we issue fines, I think, by the day. And I believe we can issue fines up to $300 a day. And I am, just to be clear, I am not suggesting any amount, but I wanted to just see what the board felt about whether, in fact, a fine should be imposed, and if so, what the amount should be. So I'm opening up the discussion to the board. What do you think?
I mean, I suggested $100 a day before. I mean, it was for a longer time period. So it would have ended up being a larger amount, but I mean,
Okay.
this was my initial thought a day.
Okay. I think we imposed a fine for 7 Maria Avenue for $100 a day, right?
We did.
So, I think that's a reasonable number. So what does the board think?
I think $100 a day is a reasonable number.
Michelle?
I was thinking 150 if we're going to knock it down to 21 days.
Okay.
It's right in the middle. It sounds pretty good.
Okay. Mark?
Right in the middle of the max.
They were aware of this,
Oh, yeah, they were using the
They were
road and the wetland is right there, so,
I know the area you're talking, I know the general site, I just don't know exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
And I can remember him saying to me, what do we need to do in order to make this go away?
yes,
They're
yeah.
guilty.
No, they had knowledge. If that's the case, then I believe we're talking about a fine of $2,100.
3150.
Yeah, I was going to say.
3,150.
150
Oh,
for 21 days.
I'm sorry, I thought we said 100.
No.
You said 150?
She said.
I said 150.
Oh, okay.
And I
So
thought that they were agreeing with me on the 150.
it sounds like we're bidding on something.
No,
Okay.
I mean, I think honestly, any amount above the minimum, I mean, I don't think that the maximum is unreasonable. They have worked with us on it,
Okay.
like been fairly prompt in getting it resolved, which is why I don't feel like we.
Okay.
I think the maximum, I agree with
No,
you
right,
wholeheartedly.
like
on
150
that.
is right in the middle.
middle.
Of the max, you know, yeah.
Okay. 150?
I think 150.
I agree, 150 a day.
I agree.
Mark? And I agree too. All right, so therefore, we will impose a fine of, it comes to $3,150?
Yep.
Okay. And you know what, let's put that in the form of a motion. Someone please make a motion.
I'll move that we fine 26 Albert Street, $3,150 for the use
The owner thereof?
of the road. Yeah.
Okay. Is there a second?
I second.
Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? It's a vote. It's a unanimous vote. Okay. I also see that we have certificates of compliance to issue for 3 different properties.
Yeah, so I don't know if you guys ever made it out to, well, I guess we can do 2 Commerce Drive, Lot 3 first. That was actually the one that, when we last met with Travis, that
We
he
actually-
presented.
We actually checked it out.
Yeah, so you guys have made it out there?
Yeah, we did make it out there, so I'm comfortable in issuing a certificate. Is there a motion? We're talking 2 Commerce Drive, Lot 3.
I make a motion, we issue a certificate of compliance for 2 Commerce Drive, Lot 3.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? It's a vote. All right. I'm trying to remember Hilltop Ave and then Nancy Drive.
So they were both, I mean, 24 Hilltop, I couldn't find a ton of information. It was 2 orders, both from, I believe, 2001.
Okay,
So, it's people that are going to sell their house that had work done decades ago.
right.
I mean, I went out to the site, I didn't see anything out of order. It's
I
always a
wouldn't
little
expect
weird.
that you would. It's 23 years ago.
Yeah, exactly. So it's a little,
All right. Whenever we get those requests, given the length of time, I'm satisfied that we can issue a certificate of compliance based on what you saw or didn't see, Jesse. So is there a motion for 24 Hilltop Drive?
Make a motion, we issue a certificate of compliance for 24 Hilltop Ave.
Okay, Av. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed to vote. And then how about 8 Nancy Drive?
so 8 Nancy, it's the same situation. It was a little more recent. I think it was 2011. It was actually a permit so it was Auburn DPW was doing, work down, I mean, there were probably 30 different addresses listed on this one order.
Okay,
And I guess apparently this is one that never got closed out, but I think it was either a water or a sewer line that they were redoing that just happened to be, within the jurisdiction of the commission.
have you been out there?
I have, yes.
Okay, and you didn't
The-
see anything, right?
It's Nancy Drive. It's a functional street.
Understood.
Yeah.
All right, based on that representation, is there a motion to issue a certificate of compliance for 8 Nancy Drive?
I move to issue a certificate of compliance for 8 Nancy Drive.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? It's a vote. Okay. So the only other thing, do we have meeting minutes for July 10th?
I have copies of them if you guys don't. I think they got handed out probably 3 or 4 times ago. So I need a copy of that.
I do need a copy, thank you.
Yeah, and then I have one other quick note from Gary that I'll have you guys read.
Sure.
I got one.
Okay, so,
I'll give you one, but
how about here?
it's their own ones. Yeah.
All right, so we'll do the meeting minutes and then we'll talk about 7 St. Mark's Street. So I do see a typo. It's on page 2. And it would be for Turnpike Developments. There was a motion made to continue the hearing to July 14th. I think you meant to say July 24th. Okay, so that was a typo. Because we met on July 10th. The next public hearing would have been the 24th.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay, and
And then that would have,
that's also true for the 7:15.
yeah.
Okay. And then let's see. And then aside from that, I have no other changes. Okay, if no one has any other changes, is there a motion to accept the meeting minutes of July 10, 2024 as amended? So moved. Is there a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And abstentions? Mr. Sclarmo, because he was not a member of the board. Okay. With respect to 7 St. Mark Street, my thought was that we incorporate the operation and maintenance plan that's been signed by the property owner and also incorporate Mr. Kravosky's August 26, 2024 letter, where he outlines the amendment or the proposed amendment, and then at his offer or suggestion, also include or incorporate information regarding the use of Jersey barriers outside the 25-foot no-build zone to discourage any snow from being piled up there.
I think that's a fabulous idea.
Well, thank you. So is there a motion along those lines?
I make a motion that we issue an amended order of conditions with the stipulations with the operation and management plan, the proposed amendments by Glenn as far as the gravel, and the 6 Jersey barriers out of the 25 no-build zone to prevent them from doing any snow storage or removal over there.
Okay. Is there a second?
A second.
Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? It's a vote. Okay.
Yeah, because that'll actually deter, because there's all different people that go in there and plow, and they don't necessarily know that 25-foot line is. I think that that'll deter them.
I agree.
Great idea.
And Jess, you said you had something from Gary Eller?
I do, yeah. I'll just read this. So it's a memo from Gary concerning 47 and 49 Rockland Road. Those are the 2 addresses. The building department is seeking approval from the Conservation Commission to allow the potholes on 49 Rockland Road, the driveway leading to the building at 47 Rockland Road. The potholes are quite deep now and have created problems with vehicle access to and from the building. The fire department has expressed concerns with these deep potholes as they may cause problems with emergency response vehicles going to this building if needed. So they're just hoping they can bring in, gravel basically and level it off, before they get an order or anything like that. So if, emergency response vehicles have to go.
So is this request coming from Gary?
Yeah, this is coming from Gary, yes.
I mean, I think it's reasonable. So they're not gonna, there's no discussion about paving that road, correct? Jesse, there's no discussion about that road being paved at some point, at least at the present time? Okay. I guess my question would be, who's gonna actually fill in the potholes? Is the town gonna do it? I mean, it's a private way. So
Yeah, I don't think that the town, I think that they would be requesting that, it be the Arbor Light, I think is the company. I think that they would be responsible for it.
Okay. And the reason why he's sending us the letter is because there's an adjacent wetland.
Yes, well, he knows that they're currently, they have an NOI filed with us, so he doesn't want to, overstep you guys' bounds.
Sure.
These just 2 residential addresses here?
No. It's a commercial. What's odd about it is that's actually a commercial, I forget what the.
Recycling?
I
Yeah,
guess it's a recycling plant, but it's in a residential area.
Oh,
And I think they were basically grandfathered in, right? Because I forget what that building was used before.
That's still, yeah, I mean, it was technically a kind of a shipping, I guess, portage back in the day. And they're trying to get grandfathered in, but that's still up in the air. And thankfully, that's for another board to figure out.
Right, yeah, I agree. Well, I mean, I have no objection. I mean, if the fire department thinks this is a public safety issue or that sort of matter, then I don't have an objection to it. So what we suggested, just,
I think even verbal, I think that's fine. I think Gary just wanted to get this on your radar and make sure that you guys didn't have any objections. I
Okay.
don't think that he needs an official,
all right, so,
Fences are already up on.
Yeah, they do. They have everything flagged. They have silt fences up that are actually,
so I'm just going to take a vote among the commission, and then I can actually send a response to Gary. Mark, how do you feel about it?
Oh, I'm good with it.
Okay. Megan?
I'm good with it.
Okay. Tom?
Safety issue, I'm good with it.
And me too. All right, so I will send Gary a memo. I'll just send him an email, let him know that we agree.
yeah, that'd be great.
Okay,
Thank you.
good. Is there any new business? There being none, is there a motion?
Oh, we already did the
We-
St.
we-
Mark's thing, right?
We did,
Okay, yeah.
didn't we?
Sorry.
Yeah, we did.
Yes, we did.
Yes, we did. Is there a motion to adjourn?
Move to adjourn.
Is there a second? Second. Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye. 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 Opposed? No one ever opposes. It's a vote. All right, everyone. Thank you very much.